Hello there and welcome back to my channel. I am the Rogue Witcher. I do content for all things Marvel, Star Wars, DC and all things geekdom. If you're new here, welcome. I invite you to watch some of my older videos and upcoming videos and give me a chance to help me grow my audience and to progress on YouTube. Please hit the like button and comment down below all things you like and dislike about the videos and things you'd like to see me do future videos on as well. Be sure to hit subscribe and the notification bell so you will know when all future videos are dropped. Today's video will be the first in a three-part series of me ranking the Marvel Cinematic Universe films. There's 34 in total, so I'll break it down into 3 different videos. I hope you like it. Without further ado, let's get into it. At number 34, Thor: Love and Thunder. I give it a 3 out of 10. I did not like this movie. I won't, lie. The CGI I felt was very poor. I felt the story was silly.
Hello, that's my hammer you've got there.
It was so over the top. The director, Taika Waititi, he just really butchered it in my opinion. He had such success with Thor Ragnarok. Maybe tried to go too big, too much.
The power of Thor!
Because they made Thor a silly character. Cheap, tricks, the little jokes with the jealousy of the hammer, Thor, looking at his other hammer while he has this one. Just ridiculous. Natalie Portman returned, which was really cool to see her back and play Lady Jane, Thor Jane, if you will. And it was kind of cool. And she was, probably one of the highlights of the film. And for me, the biggest highlight was Christian Bale, who played Gore, the God Butcher. Choose love. He was brilliant at it. But it made no sense. You had a silly, ridiculous, cheesy kids film and then throw in the darkness and sinisterness of Gore. They didn't mingle together. It just did not add up. They made for a joke, nothing to enjoy, visual and cheap things, a little bit of eye candy for the women in certain scenes.
You flipped too hard, damn it!
And it really lacked any substance, anything for me to really, really enjoy. Yeah, it really tanked for me. In at number 33, The Incredible Hulk, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. It feels harsh, I like this film, I do, but because of the actor change of Edward Norton, who originally played the Hulk, and played him well in my opinion, nailed Bruce Banner, and that version of the Hulk was so much better than the one we have today in my opinion, more sinister, more Hulk smashing things.
Hulk! Smash!
Looked more menacing, more badass, looked more, just Hulk-like. It's very Disney, the new Hulk, if you understand what I'm trying to say on that front. The film was decent, Edward Norton's Bruce Banner is trying to find himself a cure. He returns back to America to speak to his former love, played by Liv Tyler, a daughter of General Ross, who is of course trying to hunt him down as he believes he's a threat, also wants to harness some of the things that he has to maybe get his weapon, super soldier thing up and running. The villain Abomination I thought was really good, and the fight scenes linked up really well with each other, and they really went off in a menacing thing. It's so low down just because it's so forgetful, because it doesn't almost feel part of the MCU, and therefore for me, just can't be much higher. In at number 32, The Black Panther. Now this is going to be controversial, but I'm just not a big fan of the Black Panther film. I think it's way too much CGI, especially in the big fight scenes. They just overdid it so much, it takes me out of it. I know this is a bit of a silly thing, but I didn't like the new suit as much. I really liked the suit in Civil War, and it looked more clean and more cut and more Black Panther. Don't get me wrong, Chadwick Boseman was fantastic, rest in peace, great actor, really nailed the role. The actor who played Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan, he was brilliant. And the story did make a lot of sense, He's the son of the former king's brother who was sort of exiled for the sins of the father. He comes back as he wants to reclaim the throne. Baku was a good character. Some of the cast was really good. I really liked the actress that played Shuri. And it did, like I say, have good moments. Andy Serkis's character, Ulysses Claw, returned. The actress that plays Michonne in The Walking Dead returned. And yeah, it was good. It was okay, but for me, it just didn't hit as well as other people said it did. I felt that the big final fights were so over the top CGI. I just didn't have no interest. And the story, although cool, I felt the more interesting part of the story was with Michael B. Jordan's character rather than with Chadwick's. Felt more like the Killmonger movie than the Black Panther movie. Yeah, Tell me what you think, if you agree or disagree in the comments below. But for me, that's why it's that low on my list. In at number 31, Spider-Man Homecoming. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. I enjoyed this film. It's a coming-of-age film. Peter Parker and his first solo film as Spider-Man in the MCU. He's young. He's eager to prove himself. He wants to learn. He wants to be in the big fights, the big, the big moments, thinking, dreaming of being an Avenger. He's being mentored brilliantly by Tony Stark, who plays that role really well, does Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, Iron Man!
I think it's so low on my list because, one, there's just so many films, someone's got to finish there, but it's also because it's a little frustrating knowing what Spider-Man can be and how much of a strong badass he actually is, seeing him sort of not being able to do those sort of things because he was new, because he's young and he's not really up and running yet fully. He sort of gets his ass kicked a bit by Vulture, and the actor Michael Keaton played the character brilliantly. Like I say, I like the story. I like the kids who were cast as well, Ned and Zendaya and everyone, and it felt like a really good, feel-good, coming-of-age movie for Spider-Man, but didn't maybe lack the high stakes that I would have liked. The final big fight and the final end arc of the film felt a little flat. Vulture sort of slapped him around, and then eventually he managed to, get the upper hand, and yeah, it was okay, but overall, a really good film, but just not a great film in my opinion. But I really liked it, and that's where it is on my list. In at number 30, Ant-Man and the Wasp, 6 out of 10. There's bits to like about this film, and I feel it was a little unlucky with its reception and the placing of its releases. It was just released after Infinity War, arguably the greatest superhero movie ever released. Everyone's foaming at the mouth for more, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp is what you get, sort of because of the way they shot it in the timeline thing. It was set before Infinity War, so people weren't as interested because they wanted to know what's going on with, the main cast of the Avengers. And then you sort of get this little B-side story with Ant-Man and the Wasp, trying to find, Hope's mother in the quantum realm. You have the villain Ghost, popping up here and there, trying to get the energy to, to fix herself and her problems. Felt more like the Wasp movie, more than an Ant-Man movie. Scott Lang, Paul Rudd played him brilliantly. He was funny with, his crew. Very humorous moments, enjoyable, fun, well shot. I liked seeing Hope as the Wasp, she was good, her fight scenes were really cool. But yeah, I just felt it got a bit lost with all what was going on at the time, and therefore maybe does also affect the feeling towards the film. The car scene in San Francisco was really cool and funny, the way they shot it. And yeah, it did have good moments, Ant-Man and the Wasp, but compared to some of the other bigger, more blockbuster movies, it therefore has to fall where it does on my list. In at number 29, Iron Man 3. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Iron Man 3 is a bit of a weird film compared to the other two Iron Man movies. It doesn't feel like an Iron Man movie in a weird sense. Tony Stark, he's having the effects of what happened, being, almost killed in space in Avengers Assemble. He's having these panic attacks, he's struggling. The Mandarin, which looked like was going to be a cool, sinister villain, the leader of the Ten Rings, it was quite dark, there was attacks, there was everything. We were thinking, oh, this could be really cool. And then it turns out now it's just Trevor. He's just some actor, nobody, comedian. It's all a ruse. The real villain is some former jilted colleague, scientist bloke who wanted sort of to be Tony or looked up to Tony and wanted him to take him under his wing, had a thing for Pepper. He then gets these powers with his experiments, these fire sort of heat powers. I don't even remember his name. It's not very memorable. And the War Machine.
That is so much better than Iron Patriot.
For some reason it's changed to Iron Patriot. It's protecting the president. Sort of a weird B storyline. But anyway, yeah, it all comes to a big thing when Tony has to go up against him with all of his suits. That was cool to see all the suits and him use some of them. But overall, it just felt flat for me. I wasn't really enjoying it. I did like the moments when he and the kid that helped Tony in the beginning of the film, he's sort of like a sort of absentee father figure sort of thing for him, which was pretty cool to see Tony have a softer side, as we also see later on with Peter Parker in the MCU. But yeah, it just felt a flat end to the trilogy for me. Felt that it could have been much better and much bigger. And at number 28, Black Widow. I give Black Widow a 6.5 out of 10. It's not that I dislike Black Widow, it's sort of, why did we get Black Widow? We knew, obviously, by the time we got the film Black Widow, what happened in the events of Endgame, so we knew the stakes couldn't be that high because we know that she's going to come through, which does take away a bit in the film. The story was semi-interesting. The Red Room, her former assassin days with, Russia and you know, all the girls and you know are sort of under the influence of this sort of, you know, mist drug thing that sort of, you know, dulls them and makes them sort of drones. And you know the main Russian guy villain, I can't remember his name, I'll be honest, is sort of, you know, using them to, you know, commit atrocities and do terrible things. And she has a previous history, because obviously she believes that, you know, she killed him and his daughter, which is, you know, someone she carries for a long time, but it turns out no, she didn't. The daughter turns out to be Taskmaster after what he does to her, which is shocking. So again, it's a decent story. The highlight of the film for me is Yelena, her sister, brilliantly acted by Florence Pugh. I thought she was fantastic, funny, great, you know, chemistry with Scarlett. I thought, you know, the action scenes and the fighting choreography were brilliant. The two of them, you know, were badass. You know, their sort of road trip, sort of Two Against the World, and then Red Guardian, and the mum comes into it, which he was hilarious. You know, David Harbour, really funny. Would like to see more from him, hoping to in Thunderbolts. Hopefully he'll get more screen time. Yeah, like I say, a good film, which sort of had a poor final act though. It just didn't feel like there was, again, enough jeopardy. The CGI was just shocking at the end of that film. I mean, we all know what scene I'm on about. Really poor. But no, the highlight for me was Yelena. It was really good, and it was good to give Scarlett Johansson her own feature film. She deserved it, and to tie up her story and finally put an end to it. In at number 27, Thor. I give Thor a 6.5 out of 10. I did like Thor. I thought it was a really good origin movie. You know, really got to see a young, cocky, arrogant, badass Thor. Thinks he's the best fighter, soon to be king. You know, him and his friends, Lady Sif, and the other members of his crew, his brother Loki. You know, he's just going around thinking he's the big cheese. And his dad, Odin, decides to take him down a peg when he overstretches a bit, going up against the Frost Giants without permission. He strips him of all of who he is and what he was, sends him to Earth, and sends him on a bit of a find yourself sort of mission. Excuse me. Yeah, find yourself sort of mission and find out who he is, you know, underneath it all, underneath, you know, the strength, the powers, the prince title. Who is he really? What does he want? He meets Jane, played by Natalie Portman, who was fantastic. I really did enjoy their chemistry on screen and the progression of the story. Agent Coulson and Hawkeye made cameos appearances. The first with Clint Barton, which was really cool to see him on the big screen. For me, the final act felt a bit flat. You know, there was no real awesome badass villain. It was that robot that defends Asgard that was being used by Loki, manipulated, you know, throughout the film. Getting to see Tom Hiddleston play him was brilliant. I feel like he really nails playing Loki. And yeah, so it felt a bit flat on the ending, but the overall film I felt was good. It was all well rounded. I enjoyed it, and a very good introduction for Thor into the MCU. In at 26, Eternals. I give Eternals a 6.5 out of 10. I like Eternals. It was controversial and a lot of people didn't really like it. I felt it had some really good casting and certain characters, and that visually it was stunning. It was cool, new characters. These were ancient beings from another world, and you know this Olympia place, and you know they've all got different powers. They're warriors, and you know they have to interact with humans thousands of years before the events of the MCU started, to help the population grow and kill the deviants threatening them, so that the Celestial can rise. I feel that maybe a lot of people didn't like it because it was very complicated. There was a lot going on, a lot of new characters, a lot of new powers. You know, a complicated storyline. You know, going back and forth from modern day to previous flashbacks, so time jumps here, there and everywhere. But I liked it. I thought it was a pretty cool story. It was different, it was unique, you know, and like I said, I thought it was visually shot very well, and I thought there was some really good portrayals by the actor who played Icarus, particularly, you know, the guy who played Rob Stark. I thought he was really good at being the hero turned villain. The actress from The Walking Dead who played the speedster, she was really good. You know, it's hard when you don't have, you know, lines in the film, but really, you know, portrayed the emotion brilliantly. Yeah, Angelina Jolie as a badass warrior fighter, I thought was fantastic. I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more and see how it concludes. I understand we're not going to get a sequel, which is a shame. Not sure about that end credit scene with Harry Styles. Don't know what was going on there. But obviously, you know, we have that dead Celestial now, which I believe is going to be one of the main points of Brave New World and the new Captain America movie. So maybe we'll get an update there. But the Celestials are a big part of what's going to go on. So I feel like we do need to find out more. And so hopefully we will over some other film maybe upcoming in the MCU. In at number 25, Doctor Strange. I'm going to give Doctor Strange a 6.5 out of 10. I'll be upfront, I've only seen Doctor Strange once. I've tried to rewatch it, for some reason just can't get into it. You know, Stephen Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Sorry. Doctor Strange, I think, is a very cool character, and I do think the film was shot very well. Visually, again, stunning. You know, all the new mirror dimensions and realms, and the way they articulate the magic in it. I think it's shot very well, and I love the costume design. I thought the story was quite interesting. Again, a bit of a cocky Jack the Lad guy, Dr. Stephen Strange. You know, he's at the top of his peak, you know, has the woman, has the car, has the house, has the cushy job as a surgeon. Gets humbled in a, you know, horrific accident. And again, not only has to try and build himself back up to be what he was, but more, and grow as a person through, you know, these trials to becoming, you know, Doctor Strange and a wizard, so to speak. The actor who played the villain, Lars Mikkelsen, I believe it is, you know, he was in Rogue One, a good villain, a former student turned bad, dabbling in the dark side of magic, which, you know, the Ancient One, you know, forbids, even though it turns out she does later on. A little hypocritical, but I believe it was really well done, and I did enjoy the film, a good story overall, and yeah, it just felt that it was good but not great. Tell me what you think in the comments below regarding Doctor Strange, but that's where it is in my list. In at 24, Thor: The Dark World.
Thor. After all this time,
I'd give it 6.5 out of 10. I think it's harshly underrated. A lot of people didn't like it. I don't mind the film personally. I enjoy it. Thor gets reunited with Jane after she obviously becomes entangled with the Reality Stone / liquid. And we get to see her come to Asgard and interact with Thor's world and see him in his natural habitat. We see him link back up with Loki after the events of Avengers Assemble. The whole can I trust you, can I not? Sort of knowing that he's set to betray him, but when, always keeping an eye on it. You're always on the edge of your seat.
it's brilliant, Thor. It's truly.
I thought the villain was pretty good, you know, the Dark Elf, having previous, you know, beef with Thor's grandfather, you know, there's history there, and he wants revenge for what happened to him and his people. You know, we also get a little glimpse at what's going on, and potentially, you know, another Infinity Stone. What's being, you know, are the strings being pulled here? Why are these things popping up? I thought visually, again, it was very good. I loved the fight scenes, you know, especially when it went to London and, you know, they're hopping between worlds. I thought it was very good. And I thought it was just underrated. I liked the story. I enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting. And yeah, again, another solid MCU movie. In at number 23, The Marvels. I give The Marvels a 7 out of 10. Now this is controversial because a lot of people hated on The Marvels. I liked The Marvels. I thought it was a fun, easy to watch, visually really good shot film. 3 characters I like: Monica Rambeau, Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel, all have to team up in a sort of, you know, almost a little bit like, you know, a comedy team up movie, and, you know, go around the galaxy, you know, trying to, you know, find the villain and put a stop to her. If anything, it's maybe the villain that, you know, halts this movie being much better, because it is a bit of a weak villain, but, you know, she has history of Captain Marvel, you know, former Kree on that world, you know, or fought for the Kree, and, you know, is annoyed and upset of what Captain Marvel did to their world and the events that, you know, befell her people and the struggle that then set them on in the universe. Of course, Captain Marvel's also still trying to do right by the Skrulls, who of course were wrong done by the Kree. But no, I really liked it, because if you'd seen Miss Marvel, you knew you were going to have great chemistry. You know, the actress was brilliant interacting with Captain Marvel. I really like Brie Larson. I think it's underrated. And you know what I like about this film? It's easygoing. Nick Fury returns. It's an easy watch. It's light-hearted. It's a very simple story from A to Z. You know, there's really good action, good visuals, comedy, shot very well, moves at a good pace, not too long. Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun, easy watch, and I like The Marvels. Good end credit scene to set up something big with the X-Men. So yeah, I don't get the hate as much. I really liked it, and that's where it is on my list. In at number 22, Captain Marvel. Again, another film I really liked that a lot of people found controversial. And I think, again, maybe the timing of the release just before Endgame, everyone's hoping it's going to set it up. I know one of the Captain Marvel characters in the comics is a man. A few people have been upset Brie Larson took the role.
It's me, you see, isn't it?
I thought she nailed it. I thought it was a really good film. You know, You know, she has sort of PTSD, loss of memory from what happened before. She's been fighting with the Kree Empire. She realizes she's on the wrong side of a war. She tries to set it right. Jude Law is brilliant as sort of the main villain, you know, soldier for the Kree Empire. Nick Fury, where the way they meet and have like a really good, you know, sort of buddy cop sort of feel to it, you know, banter and relationship, and it's really cool. Heartwarming when she reunites with, you know, Monica Rambeau and her mother, and she starts to get the memories come back and realise who she is and who she was, and you know, and what's happened to her. And I thought, again, visually really well shot. I thought it had really good comedic, you know, stuff in it. I thought the fighting was really good, the choreography was good, and again, I liked the storyline that the Skrulls were actually, you know, innocent, and it was the Kree Empire that were doing the wrong things. I thought Brie Larson smashed it as Captain Marvel.
If you hurt them, I will burn you to the ground.
Really enjoyed her portrayal, and I don't get the hate, personally, I'll be honest. But again, there is no right or wrong answers, just individual taste, and that's why I really liked it, and that's where it is on my list. In at number 21, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
We're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I really like this film. Although it is my least favourite of the Guardians trilogy, you know, that doesn't say anything because all three films are brilliant. James Gunn absolutely nails the Guardians franchise. Hilarious, funny.
I meant Trash Panda.
Visually great, journey through space, action, Jeopardy, you name it, it's got it. I think, again, casting, they nailed it. Chris Pratt, Star-Lord, you know, he's just the perfect leading man for me, even though he doesn't feel like a leading man. They have a great relationship, him and Rocket, as they're sort of at odds with each other at the start of the film. Rocket being a bit of a, you know, bit of an idiot and sort of, you know, trying to just be an idiot for idiot's sake, undermining Peter and what they've got going for them with the Guardians. Interesting, his father comes back into the picture and he's half, you know, Peter's half a Celestial. He's, you know, realises he's much more powerful than he thought. I thought the story really flowed with Yondu, you know, really, you know, being harshly done by his crew because obviously, you know, he obviously cares for Peter. He's a father-like figure for him, you know. Again, it's just very humorous. It's an easy watch. James Gunn nails it like that, and you have a smile on your face when you're watching it. The music choices, again, the soundtrack's fantastic. Again, choreography for fight scenes I thought was good. I thought it was shot visually very well, edited very well. You know, Gamora, and Peter and their sort of, you know, beginning of their love story was really well shot and teased and didn't overdo it. Drax, again, absolutely hilarious. So funny. Mantis, a new character, I thought she was really good and funny and really had a good dynamic with Drax and shot very well. Kurt Russell playing Ego, again, I thought he did very well as a villain. And yeah, just all round, I thought the film was very good. You know, James Gunn just knows how to get the best out of the Guardians franchise to make you care about these characters.
He says, welcome to the frickin' Guardians of the Galaxy.
And really enjoy watching it. A sad, obviously, bit of a sad ending to the film with Yondu moving on and passing away, sacrificing himself for Peter. But that just really made you connect with the characters even more, in my opinion. And yeah, just have even more fondness for them and the film. So that is part 1 of my ranking of the MCU films. Check out part 2 where I rank films number 20 to 11. I hope you guys like it and want to see more of these sort of ranking videos. Comment down below if you do, and comment your list where you think I went wrong or where you think I went right. Tell me, you know, if there's anything that other videos you want me to do within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I will be dropping a bonus video on Wednesday reacting to the new Fantastic Four trailer, so I can't wait for that, and I hope you'll check that out. Like and subscribe and share, tell your friends. You know, I'm obviously trying to grow my audience and try and get more people to the channel, and hopefully, you know, you guys can help me push on and make the channel the best it can be. So thank you for watching as always, and I'll catch you in the next video. Adios.